Mr. White, there's something outside you should come look at.
Sure, no problem.
What is that?
Oh, that's just social media. You want to hear some laws about social media?
Sure thing, boss.
Okay, great.
What are some laws that apply to social media?
That's an interesting question, Michael. We'll talk about it right now. Social media are interactive computer-mediated technologies that facilitate the creation or sharing of information, ideas, career interests, and other forms of expression via virtual communities and networks. Here are some examples of various types of social media.
Now, I know social media doesn't have its own set of laws, but what existing laws that we prosecute could apply to one's actions on social media?
That's a good question. Threats may be communicated via social media. In the event a threat is communicated via social media, what sort of offense could this constitute in the state of Georgia, Michael?
It could be a terroristic threat if you are threatening violence against another person with the intent to terrorize or place that person in fear. This could even be a felony offense if it suggests the death of the other person.
That's a good point. Threatening to commit an act of violence with the intent to cause the evacuation of a building is also a type of terroristic threat. This can cause disruption to public organizations and to public facilities, and is incredibly dangerous.
Making threats online about guns or school shootings is a crime, and it is a crime that law enforcement takes very seriously. Claiming that it was a joke is not a defense.
So if you see something, please say something. It's always important that you let authorities know whenever you see a threat communicated online that is directed towards a public school. This may save the lives of your fellow schoolmates.
Swatting, which is the false transmission of a public alarm or calling law enforcement out to an emergency that does not actually exist, is commonly referred to as swatting, and that is a crime. If you transmit a false public alarm and someone dies, you can actually be charged with murder.
That's right. It's incredibly dangerous to attempt to have the authorities respond to what they believe is an emergency or where there's an active shooter when you know that there is no such emergency, because the police officers will respond under the assumption that someone is actually engaged in a violent act and prepared to deal with a violent person.
Bullying is also a problem on social media, and bullying can take many forms which can constitute any of a number of crimes. Some of these crimes include harassing communications, terroristic threats, or stalking.
That's right. In Georgia, a gang is defined as any group of 3 or more people who engage in criminal gang activity. Gangs use social media to communicate, to advertise their colors, and to associate with each other over social media. The gang laws in Georgia are some of the toughest in the country. Participating in a gang is a good way to get you or your family hurt.
In Georgia, most any crime that's done to earn membership in a gang or to increase one's status in a gang becomes a serious felony offense.
That's true. In certain circumstances, disseminating material via social media can be a criminal act. Child exploitation is a crime in the state of Georgia, and it is illegal in the state of Georgia for any person to possess, disseminate, which means send, or solicit, which means to ask for, any sexually explicit material of a minor under the age of 18 years old. This includes any form of media, including photographs and videos.
Any sexually explicit material of a minor under the age of 18 is child pornography. And you could have to register as a sex offender if you were found to be in possession of child pornography or sending child pornography.
That's a good point. Sexting is a crime when the parties are under the age of 18, and this is dissemination of sexually explicit material via social media or text messages. Once it is sent, it cannot be unsent. And please always remember this, not only is this a crime, but it's incredibly dangerous to you and can be very embarrassing. There is no guarantee such images will remain private.
For example, revenge porn is the sharing or posting of sexually explicit images of another without their consent. This is specifically outlawed in Georgia, which means it is an additional crime on top of the possession of child pornography if the person depicted in the images is under the age of 18.
That's a very good point.
When using the internet in general, remember, once you post, you can't take it back. You can never really delete a Facebook post or a tweet. These social media posts are archived online, and if someone searches hard enough, they can find them even years later.
I think that's called the Wayback Machine.
And this can have very serious consequences. Can affect your ability to get a job, to serve in the military, get into school, or obtain student loans.
That's right. I remember not too long ago, I believe there was a young man out of Florida who was accepted to Harvard and had his acceptance pulled as a result of material he had posted when he was under the age of 15.
And there are athletes, including Braves pitcher Sean Newcomb, who have had embarrassing tweets and social media posts from their time in high school that were unearthed once they began to gain fame through their athletic careers.
We hope you enjoyed this presentation about social media. Remember to be safe on social media. It's a tool that can be dangerous as well as advantageous. And from all of us at the District Attorney's Office, thank you.